And welcome back to another episode of PC 419. Yes, I'm back at the studio just for this episode alone, due to the fact we had to do some of the B-roll here and a few other things I couldn't do at the home studio. So I thought I'll do this video, especially just for the AORUS 15G. And we've got a few other reviews coming out very soon with sort of very large, I'm going to say, particularly where I'll probably need to do back at the studio. So unfortunately, Melbourne is back into COVID restrictions. So everything will be back at the home studio, but last day of COVID-19 for us, we'll be locked down for 6 weeks. This will be my last video being done here for the PC 419 studio for the next 6 weeks. So all other videos you'll be seeing will be from home. But we are here with the AORUS 15G laptop. So we've already looked at the AORUS 17Y. Guys, check out that review. I'll actually put that into the link as well, in the link in the description. But AORUS 15G, what it's like, what can we do with it? Is it good enough for gaming? Let's find out. All right, so let's talk about the AORUS 15G itself. Obviously, some of the specifications and also some of its key features. We'll go through that into review itself. But what I want to do first is pretty much talk about the laptop itself on how I can see personally here, and we'll see what sort of I/O it currently has as well. So the laptop is pretty much a smaller version of the AORUS 17Y that we currently had here before. But it does have some key features that I can see here. Bar from one, it's got on the webcam, you've actually got the little flick switch here, which is a mechanical switch to actually block out the webcam. Also too, just the general design of it is actually really light. It's actually really good. It's got some really good exposure here for your intake and exhausting as well, mainly on top. And particularly what I've liked about this is the I/O. So on the side here, you've got two USB 3.1s. You've got a USB-C, which is a Thunderbolt port. It's got an SD card. Then you've got your DC jack as well. Full-size HDMI display, another USB Type A 3.1, microphone, headphone jack, and then you've got your Ethernet jack here as well. So it does give you the sort of the capability of actually plugging in all your I/O into the laptop without having to purchase either a dock or any extra features that you may not need, especially having the SD card. So if you are doing content creation on there, if you have photography or so forth, this laptop does allow you to do that as well. But what we'll do now is we're going to run some B-roll and we're going to go through the specifications of this laptop and we'll go from there. So let's look at some of the specifications that the AORUS 15G actually has. So it's got the 10875H CPU from Intel, which is an awesome CPU for this caliber of actual laptop. It's got an RTX 2070 Max-Q GPU as well. So power-wise for GPU power, you've got plenty of it to run any game on AAA title, especially running on a 244 Hz screen or 240 Hz screen. It's got the Pantone certified display as well. So color vibrance on this laptop will be absolutely fantastic. When I was benchmarking this and even playing some games on this, the screen calibration and the actual color that came out of it was absolutely great. Now going back to the AORUS 17Y review that I currently did, they've used the exact same keyboard, which is the on-one switch keyboard, it did take some time for me to get used to because the spacing on this keyboard particularly is pretty spaced out, maybe that 1 or 2 mils, which isn't too bad, but it does give that sense of feeling that probably the spacing is a bit too wide, but it's still great. Like you still have that nice feeling. I had the exact same problem with the AORUS 17Y as well. I'm trying to get used to that. But after about maybe a week or actually even a few hours, let's say, of use, you start getting used to it pretty quickly, and the feedback or the tactile feedback you do get out of it is satisfying at the same time. So it is a bit clicky, but it isn't too bad on the ear as well. Now, also going to the hard drive on this, so they've got one M.2 in here, which is a 500 gig M.2, but they have got an extra slot on here to expand your storage on here at the same time. Now, going back to what I was talking about with the previous AORUS 17Y, they've pretty much used the exact same cooling capacity as the AORUS 17Y. So pulling this back down here, I'm probably not going to do it because obviously you can go back to the other review on that and have a look at that, but it is the literally exact same design as what they use for the 17 inches down to the 15-inch laptops as well. So from here, I've got to say that AORUS have done a fantastic job. Cooling on this was absolutely great. I had no issues. I've really got no complaints in regard to the cooling solutions that AORUS have actually done in here. And they've had this for, I'll say for the last 1 or 2 years on their, probably the top end laptops, even the Aero series as well. I didn't get any thermal throttling in regarding to if it's AAA titles, if it's benchmarking or anything like that. Yes, the fans do spool up. So if you want to hear the fans on what they sound on full speed, which I'll show you guys now. So that's full on, that's on full max at the moment. So yes, it is loud, and I didn't get this particularly when I was gaming. So the fan curve they've used on this isn't too aggressive, but it's enough to keep it cool enough to not make the fan spool up. If you are constantly benchmarking, or if you've got pretty much heavy AAA titles and it's starting to warm up, depending on the surface area you currently got on it as well. With any laptop particularly, I've always got mine on a fan cooler, so they're never on the actual, or never on the table pretty much, but even on the table here, when I was benchmarking, I had no problems whatsoever. But what we'll do now is we're gonna run through the benchmark for you guys, and we'll run through the benchmarks and also run for some gaming that I did. Pretty much I played some Valorant on this, which was pretty fun because obviously being a new game that's come out, I'm sure you guys are still playing that. So we'll run those benchmarks now, and then we'll do our final thoughts on what I think of the AORUS 15G. So what are my thoughts on the AORUS 15G laptop? What do I think that, is it a laptop worthy for me to say that it's, how can I say it, portable enough but powerful enough at the same time? I'm going to say yes. Particularly reason being is because I really thought the 17-inch was probably a bit too large to carry around, particularly unless you were an overseas traveler, working overseas all the time, required the horsepower and so forth from that. But this 15G does give you pretty much the exact same spec, but in a smaller version. Battery life on this is a bit better than the 17Y, I've got to admit that. But my concern at the moment is price-wise. So price-wise, you're looking at about $3,800 Australian, which isn't too bad for the spec'd out machine you are getting, and sort of the flexibility and upgradability in regard to storage and memory as well at the same time. But it is a big spend to spend now here on 2020, particularly when Nvidia are going to be releasing out their new generation cards coming out soon. So we'll probably be seeing maybe end of the year or start of the year of next year of the new current generation cards bringing out, and AMD's variant as well. If they do have, if AORUS actually do an AMD variant, I'm not sure yet. We'll soon find out. But if they do end up doing that, I'm going to say yes. Is it worth it? If you needed a laptop right now, I'm going to say yes. But if you can hold out and maybe wait for the next generation to come out, which will probably be in a couple of months, particularly they usually put the laptop GPUs first. But I think coming into September now, when Nvidia are supposed to be releasing their latest consumer market GPUs, we may not see anything from Nvidia for laptop divisions come out maybe till the end of the year, or even maybe the start of next year, to be honest. But if you needed something right now and you need something a bit powerful for $3,800, which for me particularly, my laptops pretty much cost around that much anyway, the ones I buy. But if you're looking for a gaming laptop and you needed something on the go that's powerful, got a fantastic display, I'll definitely recommend the AORUS 15G. I know before I was saying, is it worth it or not worth it? But particularly, that's really your choice if you want to spend the money, or do you think it's really worth it, and particularly from your end. Do you need as much hardware? Do you need the RTX 2070? Can you go to an RTX 2060 and probably save around $500-600 there? That choice is really up to you, but you leave those comments below in the description. In the comments below, I want to see if you guys think that is it worth spending the extra $400 or $500 or $600, whatever it is. I think the 2080 series is about $1,000 more, so you're looking at maybe 4,500 Australian. That there is pretty much going close to, you know what, it's a lot of horsepower, but remember, you are looking at a 1080p screen, so I don't think you need an RTX 2080 for a 1080p. 2070 Super, this laptop did it fantastically, had no concerns whatsoever. All the games that I played in here were great. Some of the benchmarks, yes, I can probably, if it was my own personal laptop, I might, probably overclock it a bit more just to see if I can get a bit more power out of it. But that's just my personal opinion. You can, if you guys get the same thing, it's your choice. But something that comes out of the box, definitely playable. The thing I loved about this most pretty much is the I/O you get with it, especially the SD card. Being a content creator, most of my things are actually on USB-C now, so I've got USB-C drives. But if you're taking photos or still using 1080p cameras or video cameras with an SD card slot, that is a plus for me. So for me personally, that's probably one good thing about it. And if you are a content creator that's on the go as well, particularly if you are going on site or if you want to stream or so forth, the AORUS 15G will have you covered. But guys, you let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. But I want to thank AORUS once again for sending me out the AORUS 15G laptop. And guys, thank you once again for actually joining in and seeing the sort of experience I've got here with COVID-19 at the moment. So like I said, this is probably one of the last videos I'll be doing here at the main studio. All the other videos will be done at the home studio, like you guys have seen before. But also too, I want to say once again, thank you for supporting me going through this crisis at the moment, and the guys here obviously on our Discord and on Twitch as well for my live streams. I really appreciate everyone's support, and if it wasn't for you guys, obviously we wouldn't go for here as well. But thank you once again, AORUS, for sending me out the AORUS 15G. Let me know in the comments below, follow our social media links, and guess what? I'll see you next time.